Comic book characters are quite unique than most other forms of fictional characters, especially those owned by the big two. Due to the unique way comic books tend to be published, a character may start out in the minds of their creators in one form and end up drastically different due to the impact other creators working on the character have. One such example is the character we're focusing on today. I made a video on this guy when my channel was just starting out that like 10 people saw. Anyway, Animal Man aka Buddy Baker was a fad super that was saved from obscurity by Grant Morrison. However, even though Animal Man was a critical darling and a fan favorite, he didn't easily translate to a consistent sales juggernaut. But when the new 52 rolled around and they needed 52 titles to complete their quota, guess who got a much needed shot in the arm? The New 52 itself has not aged well in the eyes of the fandom, with even DC distancing itself from it as much as it can. However, while most of the big names were struggling during it, the New 52 had a plethora of titles highlighting forgotten concepts and B-list characters. I mean, there was a Resurrection Man series for crying out loud. That brings us to Jeff Lemire's Animal Man, which used a combination of a horror aesthetic and family dynamics to tell a pretty decent tale. Speaking of family dynamics, over the years the defining aspect of Animal Man has become his relationship with his family and how his actions as a superhero affect it. This is probably one of the main reasons why the book was so good. It kept the core characteristic of the character intact, while exploring other avenues for him. This has been a running theme in a lot of New 52 series that were decent, and probably should have been the theme of the line as a whole. So, what was the main plot of the series? Well, it's revealed that the reason Buddy was made the Animal Man was to protect his daughter Maxine, who is meant to be the next avatar of the Red, the force that governs all animal life on Earth. Unfortunately, there are people who would like to ensure that this does not happen, so Buddy has to protect his family from said people while also dealing with, his daughter's new powers. Now, before I praise the book, I should get one of the biggest flaws of it out of the way first, which is sadly a problem shared by a lot of New 52 titles. The dependency on other series, in this case, Swamp Thing. Both of the books have a similar tone, and it is quite possible you were reading both when they were coming out. But still, there are constant references to the character and events occurring in Swamp Thing at the time, which can be a bit jarring. However, the book is still enjoyable, and the necessary issues of Swamp Thing are present in the third trade, which is when the books finally meet in the crossover Rot World. I will admit, it is a very cheap move to get fans to buy something they may not have been even reading, but like I said, if you liked one, you were probably reading the other. And unlike most other crossovers during the New 52, it didn't end up derailing the momentum of the series. As a matter of fact, it's after the Rot World crossover that the series hits its stride. Due to a tragedy that takes place in said Rot World crossover, Buddy ends up separated from his family, and we really dive into his life as the comic takes the time to examine the toll of being a superhero as well as the impact it has on those close to said superhero. Right now, all 5 trades are currently available on Kindle Unlimited for no extra cost. The first 2 trades are basically build up to the Rot World crossover, the third one is said Rot World crossover, and the 4th and 5th deal with the aftermath of said Rot World crossover. The 4th and 5th are arguably the best of the bunch because it's completely focused on Buddy and his supporting cast at that point and doesn't deal with Swamp Thing as much, so it becomes much better reading. But yeah, if you've read the first 3 trades and then go into the 4th and 5th, you'll really feel the impact of the story a lot more. So go check it out. It's well worth your time.